Do you think she went hard on them?
To be honest, I didn't read the entire thing.
You didn't read the entire thing?
I didn't read it.
Gotcha.
So I'm not going to... But, yeah, I do think certain statements are made for entertainment.
Okay.
At the restaurant's expense.
To sell newspapers.
Well, I wouldn't say newspapers.
Yeah. Well, just
she's generating buzz. Like, it puts more eyes on her and her brand. But
I mean, his response didn't help at all.
Well, I think it was on brand for him.
Yeah.
I was like, it was almost like comically on brand. Like,
I was just like, what the fuck is going on here with this guy?
I know some people who are like more interested to go to that restaurant now as a result of that.
Yeah, as a result of it.
I personally, maybe if I had a lot more time and a lot more money, but like, kind of had to be a little selective.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know when we'll be on the other side of this, but hopefully at some point.
I mean, technically, like, you could go, but like, there's this cost. Like, I can't go to Japan. I can't go to Australia.
Is there no international travel right now? Did they ban that?
No, there's international travel, but it's just to come back.
To quarantine.
You would have to have a negative COVID test within 24 hours of the flight. Now, because before it was 72.
What if you don't? I'm thinking, like, what if you don't get the test result in time?
Right.
You're at the gate, like, trust me.
Yeah. I mean, that definitely cuts into your ability to make moves.
Yeah.
Like, sure. I was, like, talking, like, going to Canada, even. Or Mexico. Unless you're crossing the land border. Which, again, doesn't make any sense to me. Because it's like... You're coming from air, you have to show negative.
Right.
Land border, no test at all.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, that's what I kind of did. That was my life hack.
Like, I was like...
I didn't fly anywhere.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like, so if I go to Mexico, I cross the land border, and I could, like, fly from, like, TJ or wherever to, like, all over the place in, like, other parts of Mexico or even South America. And I just come back and go through the land border again. Nothing.
That's kind of weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, it's not consistent.
Not consistent. I don't think we have been consistent, and my travels through all of the U.S. will attest to
I mean, there's some places where it's like here, Seattle, things like that. When I was in Hawaii, they will be like, oh, let's look at your vaccination card or record or some kind.
Yeah.
Other places like,
yeah, who cares?
Come on.
I mean, if you go to like a coffee shop, like a Starbucks or something, like all those people sitting there didn't have to show vaccination to sit there,
right?
You know, or eat there.
Vegas,
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know what's gonna go down, but I hope everyone stays safe out there for sure.
You know, it's like, but I do realize that. Oh, I also want to clear up why my handle is what it is.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, the end. It's a reference to wrestling. It's the Brian Kendrick.
Oh, okay.
Back when he was like a heel in SmackDown.
Is he still wrestling?
I think so.
Or is he teaching?
He's probably he's probably towards the latter end of his in-ring career.
A famous lady wrestler. I don't remember her name, but he's taught a lot of people.
He taught Joey Ryan, who is not in good standing now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
He's the wrestling Me Too right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of that's going on. Ric Flair, you know.
Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. Like, that fucking... That'll let people know, for sure. So,
but that's the thing is, like... I don't want to generalize about, like, people who work in restaurants or wrestlers even, but there is kind of like an underground pirate culture, as some people would say, aspect to the businesses, and as they become more mainstream, there's become more mainstream scrutiny.
Yeah,
like if you have a chef who comes from a pirate culture background, and then they become like, oh, they're celebrity chefs. It's like some of the behavior, which is unfortunately normal, it's not acceptable in a mainstream way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a role that's happening.
I think, if anything, the only one who's really gotten away with it has been Gordon Ramsay. I mean, he's on tape pulling people's aprons and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
that's just like, and like some people have called him out on it in the past,
but no one's coming after him. But he's still on ABC Family. Like,
here's the thing: is I want to make something that I've applied in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's certain thing. I think it was Jake the Snake Roberts, who said there's something called. He's like, you can't steal it, you can't buy it, you can't borrow it. It's called charisma,
right?
And you either have it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And for better or for worse, Gordon Ramsay has a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, or not, he can get away with certain shit.
Yeah.
That others may not be able to.
Right.
Because I've always been... I know it frustrates people. Like, he is a hard worker, or historically has been.
He definitely
built up a huge brand.
He deserves everything he's got. I mean, he worked for it. I mean, you can't deny that. That's
but
undeniable.
like, some people think that people get frustrated. I understand. Like, why is this person getting this award and not me? Or why is like... As much as they don't want to admit it, if you don't have those intangibles, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, some people think that like, Kim Kardashian doesn't deserve. She absolutely deserves everything she has.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Like, because many people have done, sex tapes.
Yeah.
She parlayed that into making this huge empire.
Yeah.
For all her siblings.
Yeah.
The least famous is the most formally educated sibling, Rob.
Yeah.
He went to USC for like business and stuff. And he's the least famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still famous. When you got Kardashian fame, you're like...
He's famous, but... They're not... Rob is not going to get his own show.
Spin-off?
Yeah. They're like... It was like Khloe and Lamar and Rob Kardashian Jr.
Right. Damn.
So it's like, when it comes to these awards and stuff, or chefs or something like that, it's like, hard work matters.
Right.
What you know matters. But as I've learned, at least from my experience, who you know oftentimes does matter over what you know. You need to have the what you know, the substance, to stay there, because otherwise you're just a flash in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
But who you know, networking, that kind of stuff, is, unfortunately, it does matter.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, oh, it's politics. It is politics.
Yeah.
And the people who always say, like, I complain, they're like, oh, there's so many politics. There's politics in everything.
You got to learn how to play the game, baby.
You're just not, it's not going your way.
Yeah.
Just like in WWE, people could be like, oh, Triple H, he's like, playing politics and all stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But it's like, there are people who are better mechanical wrestlers, better ring technicians,
right?
Who are not going to be the main event of WrestleMania. Is it because Vince hates short people? Well, to an extent, but like, at the same time, you can say Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, and he's not that tall. He's a short dude, actually.
Mm.
But he's also really talented, and he has charisma.
Mm.
So he can headline WrestleMania. But, if you don't have those factors, you're not going to be the man or the woman.
Fuck yeah.
What you know.
Yeah.
Who you know matters. Who knows you may matter even more.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
And soon we will know Sucio.
Soon, right? Soon.
Hopefully. Art of plating. That's just one step.
Art of plating. One half step into the future.
Semi-final. Right?
It was dope. I talked to Serene Abe from the list as well. He's legit, man. I talked to him in New Orleans.
good for those who made it
in
any way, any recognition. It's so hard to get any positive recognition.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. Now, you know, there's still a struggle. Even if you win a Michelin star, or if you win, you're still coming up. And then even if you get to the 3, you're defending. You're in the defensive position. It never ends. Mm-hmm. The struggle never ends. There will always be new struggles, right? And I know that it's like it can be frustrating that like, oh, it's not just about butchery. It's not just about like, but it's about, have you created that perceived value? Mm-hmm. You could be using great product. I feel like I'm going to get in trouble with someone by saying this.
Again, who cares?
But like, if you don't have those intangibles, if you don't create that brand that people are convinced by, they're like, I want to go to this restaurant.
Right.
And that may just be a communication issue, right? Sometimes PR does work, but
right.
If you could be using the best ingredients, but if people don't go to your restaurant, like at all, something's going wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And tangent, because I wanted to say this, and I don't know what you think, but like having worked with wine auctions, wine valuations, I'm like, sorry, listeners, I'm jumping topics here a little bit.
It's all good.
But I see a lot of complaints about people who are like, this dish is overpriced, or this restaurant is overpriced. Mm-hmm. And people get very offended. Understandably so.
Yeah.
Because inflation, it's a tough lifestyle. Like, people who work in restaurants give up so much free time.
Yeah.
So much work. So much effort and time and energy to make it happen. And you just have people who come in and they eat it, all your hard work very quickly, and they'd be like, meh.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, overpriced doesn't necessarily mean, does this cover the cost of goods sold? Like, you could be like, oh, well, you could break it down and be like, oh, we're using this meat vendor, this
exactly.
And it equals this. But if you haven't, and understandably, a lot of people will name drop farms and stuff like that to create that perceived value. But if you didn't create that overall impression that this was worth it as a brand, whether it be McDonald's or Saison or hopefully Meadowwood again, Noma, right? It will be viewed as overpriced because, like, you get wine. Creating a bottle of wine is very expensive, but you see the prices of some bottles go down, and it's like, oh no, it's like that's not profitable. I'm like, yeah, but the market demand as a whole has determined it's this price because it's not moving.
You're right.
So it has to go down. There's a price for everything, but the market as a whole has been. Whereas there's some bottles that are like astronomically expensive because they have achieved that. Maybe it's through ratings, scores. Maybe it's just the storytelling. Maybe it's just the cool art on the bottle.
Yep.
But they have convinced enough people over time that it's worth $2,000, $3,000, whatever, for that single bottle. And, you know, all the harvesting, all that hard work also went into this bottle that has now gone down to like sub 100.
Damn. Crazy.
So it's like, I try to be sensitive, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, people just don't want to eat. Like, your art may not be market oriented.
Yeah.
And that's painful to say because people are putting themselves out there.
Well, I think now you have the pop-up thing.
I mean, definitely it helps.
And I think that helps for sure.
Pop-ups work.
Yeah. I do think that there is some...
You're testing out the market.
Yeah. Some pop-ups that should be restaurants, and then I think that there's some pop-ups that should remain